Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted property is the most proven path to financial freedom. I'm your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I'm telling you this right now. If I can do this business, so can you. So let's get started. I love this conversation where you're about to listen to, because this is all about finding the money for your deals. And you might be questioning yourself and going, Brent, wait a second. I thought, wholesaling was all about assigning it and you don't need to have money for the deals and you don't need to close it and all that. Yes. Totally understand. But there are going to be so many opportunities for you to make so much more from the deals if you close it and then resell it. Not only that, but with more and more and more states coming out with regulations requiring a real estate license, or they're kind of trying to prevent the ability to assign deals, we need to get our money people right. And that's why we have the money man himself, Chris Noggle. This is so exciting to have you on here. We're going to talk about how we can get everybody's deals funded.
Absolutely.
Fair enough?
I just love how you introed that. With all the changes coming down, I hear it. I'm not wholesaling anymore, but we used to when me and my wife were doing all the flips and we had our TV show, so we did a lot of wholesale. But it's definitely an interesting, thing that they're trying to do, where they're trying to make it so that you basically can't wholesale without licenses. And I think that's going to change a couple things, but I think one of the things that we're going to get into is, where's the money, right? Like, wholesaling, you can do it with no money, but you can't really buy a flip and do a flip with no money. You can't really buy a passive income rental with no money. But what if there was the easy button for money? What if there was just one place to go get the money, and then all you need to do is educate yourself on how to be a good borrower, and then the money just will literally, I hate to say it this way, but will appear in front of you. And I can't wait to get into this.
So, Chris, you're telling me that you've actually wholesaled and flipped some deals?
Yeah, so me and my wife have flipped 274 properties. We're still doing some development deals. Like, we just bought another one right down the road here. We're going to develop there's a 4-unit complex in front, and then we're going to build 7 units behind. But yeah, no, me and my wife had a TV show called Risky Builders in 2018 on HGTV. It was a pilot. So that's when we were hot and heavy into flipping. Prior to flipping, from 2008, when the Great Recession hit, in 2009, I was a financial advisor. I shifted and I started buying apartment buildings because, Warren Buffett said buy low, and everything was low back then. So I bought up a bunch of rentals, sold them all off, almost went bankrupt a couple times, trying to learn the game and figure the game out, because there wasn't good coaching systems back then and processes like you. So it was just kind of the old wild, wild west back then. And then we went into flipping, and through flipping, you have some flips that just don't work. So we started doing burrs, and that's how we built our rental portfolio, and we got up to 91 doors. Right when the pandemic hit, it was a perfect opportunity. I was sick and tired of real estate, just the transactional. I live in New York. The tenant laws here just suck. So I just literally sold all of our rentals. I have 6 left, but we sold all the rest of them. And when we sold them, it just gave me a lot of money, which is, I basically just said the ultimate in real estate is being the bank and lending. So I just started lending money.
Chris, I've been saying this on every show. The top of the pyramid in this business is the bank. They always win. They always win. And I think a lot of times, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I went down the rabbit hole of this passive cash flow, and I got into this business, and I was like, I'm going to buy all the properties. I'm going to have a lot of single family. And something about that was just really attractive in my mind. You know what I mean? I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then I bought them. And then I realized how much attention that it requires. And then I realized, wait a second, I don't want to put my attention on being a landlord, so I'll get a property management. Well, then I realized, I got to pay attention to my property manager, because, there's ebbs and flows in the economy. And in 2008, my rentals, people stopped paying rent.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And people think, that never happens. If you just own it long enough, it'll be fine. But I didn't have the enough cash flow to be able to cover all of the mortgages and not get rents, and people weren't moving, and it was just a disaster. And it turned, me real sour towards building a portfolio. And then all of a sudden I started talking to more and more and more people in the business, and more and more of them were going down this path towards private money. even some being their own bank and starting hard money. And I was like, okay, tell me about that. And I'm seeing, wait a second, what are you guys getting? You're getting all these payments at this really high interest rate, and you guys don't do anything?
Nothing,
You guys,
man.
nobody calls you during the weekends. Nobody calls you after banking hours. Like, what is happening here? This is like the best life. And then I start making friends with them, and I see that they have this great lifestyle, and they're making all this money from their money, and then they're starting to raise money from other people and use that. And then I was just like, that is the path, the end road for me. I want to make a tremendous amount of cash from wholesaling real estate, from flipping real estate, and put that into lending money. And that's exactly what you've created. You created a network for that.
You just laid out the entire trajectory. Now, it wasn't a smooth line. It wasn't just like this straight arrow up. I mean, there was flips that we did that didn't make money, but there was a lot of them. I mean, when you do 274 of them, you have a lot of wins.
Yeah.
But we took those wins, and we'd always roll the money into rentals. And like you said, I thought the rental game was the way to go until the pandemic hit. And literally in New York, I kid you not, when the news came out, the tenants didn't have to pay, it was just like, boom, done. They stopped paying.
Yep.
And not only that, I had nothing but problems with property managers. Everybody's like, oh, you just get a property manager. Oh, yeah? I can tell you've never had one, because that's not the answer. That's definitely, it creates a whole nother problem. So when I sold most of our rental portfolio, it was the greatest day ever, man. It was almost a cleansing.
Yeah.
And all I did is, I just said, okay, I'm gonna start lending. But when I started looking at being the bank, which is that's the game I'm in, right? BYOB. That's my company, Be the Bank. When I started doing that, I realized there were some problems there too. Because if I'm going to be the bank, if I'm going to lend money, well, I need borrowers, and I need good borrowers, and I need educated borrowers. So when I started doing this, I couldn't find deals that I could lend on that met all of my criteria. There wasn't like one place where all the borrowers were with all the deals that I could just go through. And listen, like, I used to be a pro snowboarder, and back when I was a pro snowboarder, I was a single man, I was a young man, and back then we had dating sites. So I used to get familiar with dating sites. You can love it or hate it, but the dating site made it so easy for people to kind of build relationships, because everybody was in one place, and you just put your filters on. And I got thinking about this, and I'm sitting at an event that I spoke at, and I'm like, why isn't there a dating site for money? So I started looking for one, and I came up with nothing. And I'm like, this is silly. Why hasn't somebody created this? I just said, all right, on a napkin, I drew a circle, and I said, on one side of the circle, there are people that have money, and they all have a problem. Every person you'll ever meet that has money has a problem. And that problem is they want to make more. On the other side of the circle, I said there are people that need money. I spent most of my real estate career needing money, borrowing money from hard money lenders, private lenders, and banks. And you're right. They always made more. But they didn't do anything. So I was like, all right, there's borrowers. But there's got to be a way to bring people with money together with people that need money. And all we got to do in the middle is provide education, systems and processes, and a really easy communication path so that they could meet. So I began that process. I created the first of its kind, the dating site for money. And when I got into it and I started down the legal path, because there's always a legal path on everything, I realized why nobody had done it. The regulatory amongst all the different states was so absurd. I mean, when we first started, I had one vision. It was going to be like a paid site. Everybody was going to pay a membership. And I've had to completely abandon that and make the site completely free. And the reason for that is regulators, like if you're charging like a SaaS, they want you to be a mortgage broker. Some states want you to be a registered investment advisor, which is the world I came from. Some states want you to be a real estate broker. It's kind of like your world with wholesaling. They're trying to regulate it and say, oh, we don't know what you guys really are, so you got to be this or you got to be that. And then eventually it blossoms and every state calls you something different. It's like, you're a chicken. No, you're a dog. No, you're a cat. Well, that's the world I entered. So like the answer was not what I ever thought it was. It was like the whole site, it just has to be free. Why can Facebook do it? Why can all these other sites do it? If you'll notice, they are all completely free, and that was the answer.
And so what's it called?
Private Money Club. We call it PMC.
Is it privatemoneyclub.com?
It is.
And so talk to me about it. Like, people can post their deals on there and match up with people that have money?
Yeah, so, I'll kind of give you the cheat codes, because everybody likes cheat codes. So when you go into the site, and I've got it up right here, the first thing you'd want to do is you'd want to create a profile. just like any other social site you've ever been on. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, what's the first thing you do? You start uploading the best photos.
Sure.
You know, the last night you went out, you had a nice, outfit on, so you post that photo. You tell people what it is you're on there for, what you do, what you like, what you don't, and you do that. But think, this isn't like any other social site. This is a social media site for money. So when you present yourself in your profile, make sure you put in there what it is you want. If you're a borrower looking for money, tell us that. Like, I'm a lender on there, so tell me what you want. I'm a borrower. I'm looking to borrow money. I'm in the fix and flip. I do BRRRRs. I do, some rentals. Be specific. I've done this many deals. I've been, wholesaling this many years. All those goodies. I need to know them all. And then put some good photos up, and off you go. Now, the next cheat code, because a lot of people will just put a profile up, and they're like, oh, this site sucks. It doesn't work. I'm like, well, how'd you meet people? Did you go on there? Did you post in the forum? Did you do anything? Oh, no, I just built a profile. Oh, great. I had no idea that all you need to do in social media sites is just put your profile up, and the world is just going to come to you. Brent, you know that's not how it works. So Go on there and make friends. Provide value. Solve other people's problems. There's a forum. And what the best guys on there do is they just always post in the forum. And we know a lot of these people in the masterminds. They're always on there. They're constantly talking about, hey, like one guy, I'm hustling, looking for lenders 24/7, risks of notes. This is long-term rental, learn how. Like, there's all sorts of things. People are providing value. Go on there, post value in the forum, and just get people to communicate with you. Or go in there and there's a find people or find lenders, put a profile and go and do a search. If you need money, search all the lenders. Search the lenders for the amount you need for your deal. And then go on there and connect with all of them. But don't just say, hey, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. You need to be my friend. No, tell them why. Hey, I've got a deal. It's a really good deal. I read your profile. Let them know. I read your profile. It looks like this deal might fit it. Can we chat? Can I send the deal to you? Check the deal out in the deal page. Like, you got to put the work in. I mean, listen, Private Money Club, like in the beginning when it was just a few of us, was great. But that was 3.5 years ago. There's over 6,000 members in there now. So you gotta work a little bit. But once you start getting noticed in there, you get a couple deals, word spreads quick. And then you become the popular kid on the dating site, if you will, because then everybody wants a piece.
Sure.
You do a couple good deals and everybody wants it, wants a piece of that, then all of a sudden everybody wants to lend you. This is happening every day. So you put the time in, you put the energy in, you get to know people, and there's a deals page where you can put your deal up. You can put all the photos, the descriptions, you can attach your deal spec sheets, you can put up your comps, you can put up anything you want. The more you put on there, the better you're going to be. Because listen, lenders like myself, I don't have time to go through and try to recreate your deal or make your deal what I want. I want you to be, astute enough and educated enough to literally know what a lender is going to be looking for, and tell me when I communicate with you that, tell me what you're going to give me. All right, I've got a whole deal proposal. Can I send that to you? I've also got my personal financial statements. Once you look at the deal, if you like it, can I send you my personal financials? And by the way, this is the attorney I use. This is the title company I use. They'd be more than happy to help with anything. If you want them to draft the note and the mortgages, they can. Or we can use your attorney. See how I'm talking? That's language a borrower would want to use, because when I hear that as a lender, I'm like, oh wow. This person knows what they're doing. So right off the bat, I'm starting to build a relationship, and I'm starting to build trust with that borrower, because that borrower is showing me that they've done this before, that they know what I need, that they know what I want. And then all of a sudden now I'm like, oh yeah, send all that stuff over, and I'm going to review it, and there's a much better chance that you're going to get funded for your deal.
So do you see this? Do you see a lot of equity splits then with these type of deals? You know what? You provide the money. We'll split the profits on this thing, or is it more, give me a certain amount of interest? Obviously the more equity you can give in a deal, if it's a 50-50 deal or something like that, the more attractive that's going to be to the lenders. But also there's like a fine line of, okay, can I just find somebody that'll just give me the money with just paying interest? You know what I mean? Like, is
I
it a fight like that between
completely.
the lenders?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And a
Okay.
lot of the lenders in their profile will tell you kind of here's my ramifications. Here's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Which makes it real easy for the borrowers. Oh, well, that's what they're looking for. So just deliver. So when you're talking about equity splits, is that being done on there? 100%. You know what's been really popular on there recently? What's been really popular is newer investors, so like people that maybe don't have 50 deals that they've done, maybe it's their first or second deal.
Right.
They're posting on there, they're increasing the interest rate that they're willing to pay because now, from a lender standpoint, because you're brand new, it's a little bit riskier for us, right? Because we're going to look at you a little bit different than we would somebody that's done 100 deals. So the higher interest rate first baits us in. Like, oh, well, all right, they're paying 15%. I'll look at this. It's a first lien position. But then what they do is when you read in the deal, it says also willing to split profits at the end, 10%, 20%, whatever,
Sure.
Up 50%. My God, I'd be all over that. But the most successful thing I've seen recently is there's a couple borrowers on there. Now, they're not new guys, but I'm just going to tell it to you because they're doing good. They're offering a good, decent interest rate. I think they're at 12 to 15% because that's what the market's demanding right now.
Yep.
And then they're giving a profit split on the back end. So first, most lenders are looking for a monthly check. A lot of lenders are lending from self-directed IRAs, so it's supporting their retirement. A lot of lenders are just looking for income to pay for their cars and their kids' college. So that interest check helps, but if you're willing to split the equity, you could reduce the interest and say, also, I'll give you equity on the back end.
Awesome.
That makes the deal super attractive.
Now, listen, I'm filtering this all through the brain of a wholesaler, and I'm like, oh man, that's going to eat into the profits and blah 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 blah. But I'm telling you, there are certain deals, guys, that if you don't close them right away, and if you try to put them out to all of your buyers, there's a chance that somebody's going to screw it up. Somebody's going to try to snake the deal from you, and this doesn't happen everywhere, but it's just an opportunity. And I want to make sure that we close all the opportunities for something bad to happen in a transaction so that you can get more deals done. But if you can close a deal with somebody, and I assume they're funding the purchases 100%?
Well, I've seen a lot of deals get funded 100%. Some lenders only lend 70, 80% of LTV. I mean, every lender is going to be different. And it's really, think about it. We're not talking about banks here. Banks have a little square box you got to fit in. Hard money lenders have a little bigger square box you got to fit in, but there's still all these little rules. And hard money lenders, no disrespect, but most of the time they tell you what you want to hear in the beginning, and then they screw you a week or 2 weeks out from your closing. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know we said we could lend you all this money, but now we did the appraisal, it came in a little lighter, and now we can only lend you this. And then you're screwed. You already paid the hard money lender some fees, and now all of a sudden you're not getting all the money. So remember, in Private Money Club, you're dealing with people. You're not dealing with institutions. There are no institutions in there. So it's all relationship based. So the more of a relationship you can build, the more money you're going to be able to get your deals funded at. And here's the other thing a lot of lenders are doing. Like, somebody has a deal on there and they're willing to put you in a first lien position. And that's the highest. That means I'm number one. Like Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. We want to be first. So we want to be in first position. We don't want to be behind a bank. So that's number one. Number two, one of the things that you could really do is offer to personally guarantee the loan. Now, a lot of borrowers don't want to do this, but it always confuses me that they kind of push back on personally guaranteeing a loan because every bank loan they have ever taken out is personally guaranteed. So if you're willing to guarantee a bank loan, why wouldn't you personally guarantee a private loan? Like, it's no different. It also shows a lot more credibility, and it also shows you're willing to put your assets on the line. And lenders love that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're giving them 15% and giving them an equity split and doing a personal guarantee, if you can't find somebody to fund that loan, it's not a deal. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Brent, let me bring up one other thing that's really important, because you mentioned a good point where people are like, oh, it's going to cut into my profits. You know what the worst possible outcome could be for any wholesaler is, wholesalers are front line. They find the best deals. Hence why they're in the wholesaling game. But now all of a sudden, let's just say a wholesaler had a budget. They had a lender that was willing to lend them money. So they're like, wait, on the best deals, I can just keep those for myself. So now they keep those deals for themselves. But what would happen if you had the opportunity to do the best deals, but you weren't willing to personally guarantee or pay a little bit more interest because it's your first deal, and you can't do those deals. What did you just give up? How much money did you just
All of
not
it.
witness? All of it.
All
So
of it.
giving up 15% and some equity on your deal, listen, I would say this to any brand new real estate investor: don't ever hesitate to give up like almost all of your profit on your first couple deals, because it gets you in the game. It builds the relationship. Like you and I both know an individual who's been in real estate a long time. Now he's just a lender like me, but his first deal, he tells a story all the time. He gave up 90%. He gave up 90% of that deal. His name's Greg, and he tells his story from stages all across the country. And he did that because it was either make 10% or make nothing. And sometimes that's how you got to look at it when you're brand new. It's not because the lender's being greedy. It's because you got to carve your teeth. You got to get out there and make a name for yourself. And if you got to give up some equity, you got to give up a higher interest rate, you got to personally guarantee a deal, do whatever it takes, because otherwise you're not going to get the deal. You're going to give up all the profits you could make. You're going to wholesale the deal and make money, but then somebody else is going to make the lion's share when that could have all been yours. And the only thing stopping you from making all that money is the person, the relationship that's going to give you the money for the deals that you have. And that is literally a click away on Private Money Club.
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest fears that people have is, I didn't grow up with wealthy family members. I didn't grow up in a community where there was a lot of people out there looking for opportunities to lend money on. You know what I mean? And that restricts a lot of people to just being wholesalers, and it kind of stunts the growth.
But Brent, that's a mindset problem. That's all that is. It's a limited belief problem, and it's a major problem in this country. Listen, like, I know your story, dude. You grew up with nothing. I grew up in a very lower income family, raised by my mom, and my dad was an alcoholic. Most of my life we didn't have anything. But if you think that I'm going to allow my upbringing, the lack of money, that shut the door, we're not heating the outside, and all those negative things that we were told our whole upbringing about money, that's not going to dictate my future. That's not going to dictate my dream. And if you allow it to, shame on you. Get something right in your mind. Plant your idea, because nobody can take your idea. Nobody can take your dream. But where you'll fail, folks, and I'm speaking to your audience, Brent, all of you need to listen to this. Where you will fail is when you start conforming to other people's false realities, other people's dreams that failed, other people's failed financial futures. And who are those people? And I don't mean to say this negatively, but those people are my family. I say that with all the love in the world. But no one in my family has any money. And you know who the people are that I can't do business with? Those people, because they are broken mindsets. They just don't think things are possible because they didn't grow up with it and because it didn't work for them. They never went for it. You know what the riskiest thing you can ever do in the world is go after a life of security. That's the riskiest thing you will ever do. Because when you go after security, that W-2 job, that career, that corporate job where you get this salary and all these cozy benefits, you know what you're doing? The absolute minimum you have to survive. And listen, no disrespect to anybody if that's what you want. The minimum, you just want to just coast through life, you just want to be safe and secure, great. You are what they call the 95%. You are just like 95% of the rest of the population, because that's what they do. They never chase their dream. There are the 5%, the Brents and all the others that you know, the 5% in the world. You know what they did differently? They didn't conform. They created. They created their destiny. They created their dream, and they created their financial future that they wanted, because they never gave up on their dream. Folks, don't ever give up on your dream. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. Don't let your upbringing ever stop you from getting what you want out of life. Just plow through it. Work with Brent. Like, find ways and people that have done it, because he's done it. I've done it, and you can do it too.
Well, where I was going with that, Chris, is you just go to privatemoneyclub.com, and there's your rich uncle.
I forgot there's an easy button now.
You know what I mean? Like, it's there's your opportunities. There's your mentors, truly.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's in that position typically, and they're looking to lend on deals, and you're talking about, hey, listen, I know that this is a deal. I'll give you 50%. I'll give you 50% of the upside, 20% of the upside, 15% interest, whatever it is, whatever the negotiation between you and that person is. like you were saying, it's a relationship. Now you've got somebody that probably has millions of dollars that they can lend and trust you and want to know that you are going to bring real deals and you understand what real deals are. Because for the most part, a lot of people just lock up deals and they're not really deals. They don't really understand the valuations. They don't really understand the potential of a property, and that takes some time and some experience. But once you do have that experience, and once you are finding real deals, which the Rhino Tribe, I mean, we find the most unbelievable deals, and the people listening to this podcast find unbelievable deals. You match that up with somebody that is already at that place where you want to be, that has the money, that is the bank. You can learn so much from these people, and it opens up so many doors, and they're all sitting right there. You just have to be loud and participate, and check out Private Money Club and start building those relationships. I mean, I'm telling you, Chris, if I would have had this in 2005, 2006, 2007 and would have listened, and I wouldn't have lost everything in 2008. You know what I mean? I would have been listening to what the other guys are. Why are you pulling back on lending right now? Why are you charging more right now? What are you seeing around the corner? What are you listening to? You know what I mean? Like, the people that got crushed were the people that just didn't know where to get their information from, and the people that absolutely took huge advantage of any economic downturns are the people that can see the writing on the wall because they have the experience, and all they do is talk about money and talk about making more money with their money all the time. And you need those people in your life. You need them on your personal board of directors because they're going to protect you. They're going to be a shield against the really rough, turbulent times. And it happens all the time. It happens every few years. You know, we saw people get crushed in 2022 when interest rates went up. You know what I mean? So, it happens.
People are going to get crushed here soon. Listen, like, one thing that we didn't get into here is my background, the Wall Street stuff. And, I can see, what's coming. And I can see it through the signs and all the different things, and I'm not going to bore anybody about that. But I will tell you, in 2025, there is a very strong probability, I'd say about 100% probability, that we'll enter a recession. And when we do, the Fed will drop interest rates, which will be good, but banks will seize up, just like they always do. Hard money lenders, which feed their money from institutional money, like hedge funds and things like that, they'll also start to freeze up. How do I know this? Well, because I lived through this already. This has already happened, and I saw what happened. And now, for the first time, like, unfortunately, I created it, so I'm not really benefiting from the borrowing side of it. But Private Money Club, these individuals in there, they're just people like us. So when everything does go down, their money doesn't disappear. They're just looking to redirect it. They're getting away from the stock market, and they're looking for better places to put their money with more security and better returns, which happens to be, folks, all the deals you look at every day, because there is no safer place for us to put money than intangible real estate deals. And all we need to do is find good operators, good borrowers that understand how to be a good borrower. I mean, I wrote a book. I don't even know how many years ago it was. It was called Private Money Guide, but it was all about basically just how to be a good lender and how to be a good borrower, all step by step. But I mean, all these different things, like, if you just master those simple traits, when the market does give way and everything starts to fall apart, you're going to see people fall apart as well. You're going to see people losing a lot of money, but you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that has the front row seat to the show. You just put the 3D glasses on and you're just like, woo, this is going to be fun. Because when everything crashes, you know what it creates? The single greatest opportunity of your lifetime. But you can't seize the opportunity if you're not in the game. You can't seize the opportunity if you don't have those relationships and the access to capital. And Private Money Club is going to be that place. Now, here's the only downside. Because, listen, we've talked so high about Private Money Club. Private Money Club right now is a little over 3 years old. So you could call it an infant. I mean, it's literally a tight-knit group of roughly 6,000 lenders and borrowers. And right now, luckily for all of you, it is way overweighted in lenders. And that's primarily because of my other business, which is the BYOB business, Be Your Own Bank, where we do infinite banking concepts. All those people are looking to move their money from their specially designed whole life policies and move it around, the process. So all of that money is in Private Money Club now. There's more money than there are deals. So I don't think I need to tell you what that means for you. But the problem, in the future, when the stock market gives way and they're not able to make money in the markets and everything else starts falling apart, Private Money Club is going to start getting more popular. More and more people are going to be putting deals on there, and it's going to become more competitive. So Don't wait for this. Like, now is the, when things are brand new and not everybody knows about it, that's the time to get in and get to getting. You just got to get in there. Get in there and start using it. Build the relationships.
Get it while the getting's good.
Get it. That's what I was trying to say. Thanks. Get it while the getting is good. Man, we were
Awesome,
talking
Chris.
offline.
Private Money Club, guys. Check it out. Start building some relationships. If you're looking for that rich uncle, there you go, or aunt, or grandma, or grandpa, or what, friend, or dad, or whatever. You know what I mean? Go in and start building those relationships, and just start preparing. I mean, you should have the ability to close every deal. You should be able to have the ability to make sure that you have the funds for every deal. And if you don't, this is a great resource for you to get in there, start building those relationships, and really build great mentorships that are going to last, lifetimes. I mean, you read about it in every book. There's always the mentor that's teaching them, and they've gone down and they've got sage wisdom, and they can peer around corners and keep you from really making some huge mistakes. So privatemoneyclub.com. Thanks, Chris, for coming on here.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on.
How else can people hear? I know that you do a tremendous amount of trainings all the time on infinite banking, on being your own bank, and all that. How can people find out more about you besides privatemoneyclub.com?
Yeah, I'm not hard to find. So on every social channel, I am at the Chris Noggle, and my number one channel is YouTube. We post every single day. We've been doing it for a while, and they're a lot of fun to watch. So if you want to learn about the infinite banking concept, how to be your own bank, you want to learn more about being a private borrower, private lender, and PMC, just search at the Chris Noggle or go to chrisnoggle.com, and you'll find so much free content. Matter of fact, you'll probably be asking, well, how do I pay for something? I totally believe in giving, so pretty much everything I do, I give it away for free so that you can get better.
Thanks, Chris. And that's it, guys. As always, I encourage you to go out there and talk to people. Till next episode. Love you guys. See ya.